Hey, so I just wanted to share something today that is very apparent. And because it's coming up to Christmas, like there have just been so many Christmassy reminders. And like it's not just Christmas Day, it's like the festive season as a whole. And I guess you could kind of extend it to things like Easter and those celebrations where there is a focus on family. So when it comes to baby loss and healing through it, there are obviously going to be the moments where you're really, really happy and excited for others, which is like that deserves to be its own moment. And like, I feel like you can celebrate that part of it while also holding your grief as a lost mama, as a mama who is wanting to become a mama, and through infertility, both explained and unexplained, and anything in between. That moment of wishing what was can be heightened during the festive period. So, right now, I have been feeling very deep in thought at the moment because I've been wrapping presents today, which is it's fine. But in all honesty, by now, I had hoped that my life looked differently. And 10 years on from this, just 10 years on, and from the very start of my baby loss journey, there was a part of me that through this had said, like, okay, by like in 10 years' time, or like by the time it's the 10th anniversary, death anniversary, things will look different in that regard and in that space. And while in some aspects my life certainly does look different, and it's different in the ways in which I wanted and continue to desire and appreciate, there are moments in my day where I still get very deep in thought, and it's not that I'm sad or jealous or anything like that. It's just me sitting with the heavy feeling of what if, what could have been. And there is a part of me that thinks of all the typical uh like Christmassy milestones like Elf on the Shelf and things like that, and working as a teacher previously and being in that environment, that was just like part of the build up to Christmas, and there was a little bit of magic there, although it was a little bit different. Um, Now, like obviously I'm working for myself, it that part of me wondering like the what if, and like actually working towards having a family of my own, it's more amplified now. And I'm like, okay, we've got some things to do, so hang on. Okay, yeah, so with all of this, I wanted to highlight how I feel and how I've felt today and what I'm doing as I'm recording this to allow myself that space that I need and deserve while healing through this out loud. So I had a moment today where, like, while I was wrapping presents, I didn't necessarily want to like focus too much on the presents. Was I was quite disconnected from that part of it just because there is a certain present that I wrapped. I was gifted and wrapped it a few years back, and I was told to put a note on the present not to open it, and I was meant to open it with a friend once I'd hit some very specific milestones, and we were meant to stand by the Christmas tree and open our respective presents together. And that hasn't happened this year. So there is me kind of like grieving that part of Christmas. So yeah, there's that bit that I'm sort of just allowing to exist, and I'm not really pushing it away or down. I'm just allowing it to come up as it chooses to, in whatever way it chooses to do so. And I'm also just in this space of really looking at my life, the people I have around me, the people I choose to welcome in any kind of capacity. And I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling all the things. Over the last week, I've said yes to many things. I've also said no to things that I would have previously said yes to. And I've said yes to things that I would have previously said no to, just because it was very intense and my reaction would have felt like it was maybe too much of a stretch for where I was on that particular part of my journey. But now I am feeling however I feel. And if it does feel quite uncomfortable for me, I will just breathe. First of all, I breathe through it. And then, like, I'll breathe in for 4, I'll hold and then breathe out for 4 and then hold and then breathe in, and like go through that process. And then I will just slow right down and just acknowledge where I am and how far I've come with everything. And then I will choose a specific activity or ceremony that I choose to do that feels good, and it's not something that looks performative. It's just what feels safe in my body today, or what feels safe in my body right now, because where I am in that particular moment after a reaction has been felt in my body, I don't necessarily want to be doing a particular thing for like the whole day. I might just feel like, oh, 20 minutes of a certain thing is the right thing for me to do, and then I'll move on to something else. But for now, um, I have decided to run myself a bath, and the thought behind this is to distract my brain. So when grief strikes, distract the brain. And this is not from a place of avoiding how you're feeling, it's quite the opposite, because it's that almost immediate change of circumstances. And then when you are in that space of looking after yourself and pouring back into you, watering yourself, this is where, because in my world, serenity and the water element, this is where the water actually holds and cradles you. So, because you have the support, like in this instance where I'm running myself a bath, and it's not just in this case one of the like every not everyday baths, but the more simpler baths that I do for like ceremonies, I will add certain things in intentionally. So for this time around, I added my CBD Epsom salts, which are just absolutely beautiful. The smell is just incredible as well, which is another thing that I use. So I use aromatherapy a lot to really bring me away from panic mode and into serenity, like the vibrational energy of serenity, because it's an emotional state for me as well. It's not just like my signature um healing process. It's a way of living, and with serenity, it allows me to be like really zen and blissed out while also being connected to my body and whatever the thing is that I'm wanting to channel in and call into my world. So, whether it is bringing more balance to grief, like right now, I'm holding that, but I'm also holding the other side of that as well, where conscious conception is also on my mind. And like now I'm learning and appreciating that my body is able to hold on to two things at the same time, two and like more than two things at the same time, but understanding that at least two things can be true at the same time, so they can coexist while other elements are working as well. So instead of me just focusing on the grief and I can't be happy in a time where I'm grieving, I am now honoring the fact that I can hold space for moments where I'm able to grieve and I'm able to process that as fully as is necessary in that moment. And then once I have processed what I need to process for that particular moment, I can then move on to something else, like planning for business and calling in a certain amount of money, and then focusing on my goals for 2026 that still honor grief, but without being too deep in it to where I can't feel empowered by the space that I'm in because of what I've gone through. But that's not to say that it's not something I want to focus on, because it certainly is, because without going through that, I wouldn't be here talking to you about how I got through it and how I'm healing through it, because there are certain shifts that have taken place, and especially when it comes to the festive season and just being around family and having the question of like, oh, when you're gonna have kids, what's happening with you? Are you with anyone? And all those questions. It can feel quite frustrating still answering the question if you feel ready to answer it, or even having an answer prepared if you don't want to answer it. Like that, the fact that we still have to feel like we need to answer such a question it's bizarre to me. But while the world catches up to the way that not only I think, but the way that a lot of others think in a similar situation, it's just something to where you can be as prepared as you can be. And something I really want is for the birth that I have to hold all of the variations of like what I'm holding at the moment. And I know that the water does that for me anyway, but having the intentions of what else did I put? Oh, I put white sage in my bath as well. So it became like a spiritual divine bath. And then I've got cinnamon for wealth attraction and abundance in all of its forms. And oh, vanilla for sensuality and just divine feminine energy and just emotional softening. So yeah, I love that. And like all three of those scents and those fragrances, like they just make me feel really, really good. And on an energetic level as well, they're kind of like working, and they're also distracting me from a sensory point of view as well, so I can really just breathe and allow myself to connect with my emotions while giving my body and my mind all the space that it needs. So instead of trying to push my grief down I'm giving it all the space, and I will continue to give it as much space as needed, because again, like with the whole healing out loud thing, this is the missing piece, and I feel like now it wouldn't make much sense for me to kind of to it wouldn't have made much sense for me to have done the healing out loud portion where I was talking about the baby loss comfort experience and how I went through the waves, and then like, okay, we've kind of done that part of it where I'm talking about the waves of grief. And then if I just went silent about like the stuff that comes after that, that's not me healing out loud. And I was just like, oh, do you know what? Just, I'll go and have the bath, and then like I might feel like talking about it. But in all honesty, because of how I've put the bath together and like the things that I've incorporated into it, I'm probably going to go straight to sleep, because that is how I that's just how my mind and my body respond to water. Like I just go to sleep afterwards. And because I have slow mornings and I really cherish those, I am also going to be playing with more slow evenings. And even when my day is stacked with commitments, I still want to have those slower elements so that it doesn't feel like the time doesn't belong to me. So, yeah, I'm going to focus on the self-care element today with the bath, and just allowing all of my thoughts to just like go down the drain once I'm all done. And yeah, I just want to be with my energy and just feel into what is next for me. Um yeah, so this is where I meditate, and like when I'm close to water, and whether it's a bath or a shower, this is when the next thing comes in, or I get like the deepest insights, and that's where I get the most comfort. And the fact that I'm using and working with water to help heal in this moment is really, really, really helpful. Um, so yeah, just taking it 1 hour at a time. And with a lot of my practices, I have so much to say about each and every one of them that I just want I want this year to be so different. Like now I'm reflecting on previous years, and that wasn't good. But obviously because I'm documenting this year and like the difficult moments, I'm not just hiding away and crying. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying for where I am right now, I wanted things to change, yet I wasn't doing anything really in alignment with the changes that I wanted to see. I was just on autopilot and expecting things to change, and then getting upset when my body would kind of come out of that disconnected state. And then I'm like, whoa, number one, where did all that time go? Number two, why didn't I do something? And then number three, what can I do to catch up? And catching up feels like a bit of an illusion, but I'm just gonna honor where I am right now. But I'm definitely finding that talking about how I'm kind of going through and healing through baby loss as well, like years on now, has helped because I'm talking about it out loud rather than just in my journal and then saying, oh, I'll maybe share that later. But I do still have plans to share all of those journal entries and like the biggest takeaways from them. It's just a case of me feeling a lot more confident with what I have to say and trusting that the women or the families of the women who are going through this find me, and then my message gets to go where it needs to at the right time. So, thank you for spending time with me today. Until next time, I will see you soon.